Welcome back to Briggs on Books, our international talk show where I get to talk to authors every day. I read it half the day and I talk to authors the other half of the day. We started this because I'm always picking the new book. How do you pick a new book? Well, sometimes if I hear a little bit from the author, here's a book, White Glass, a great book. We're going to talk to the author in a minute. I like to see the cover. I like to hear from the author, and I want to know if they have any awards. That helps me pick a book too. There's millions of books out there, and I'm always working to narrow down what I'm going to read next. Let me bring in this next author. She wrote White Glass. She wrote Bipolar Bears, and she's somewhere in Michigan. Nova Wallace. Welcome, Nova.
Hello, Mike. How are you? Thank you for having me.
I'm doing great. I'm going to ask you in a minute about the awards, but let's look at the book covers. Here's Bipolar Bears, which is very clever, by the way, I think. Bipolar, polar bears, get it? Finally Unrestricted, and the one we had up in the beginning, White Glass. And now, since I talked to you last, you've got some awards on these books.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, something I'm very proud of. So let's see. I've won 4 awards. I won the International Impact Award, the National Association of Book Entrepreneurs, and Bipolar Bears and White Glass both picked up an Author Shout Award. So I'm very, very happy about that.
By the way, I have White Glass up on the screen, and I just downloaded that from Amazon. I think one of the awards is printed on the cover now. There's a gold medallion
I
on the
have
cover.
to check. It should be. So, yeah.
Yeah, gold medallions on the cover. So, like I said, you're flipping through hundreds of books, and all of a sudden you say, "Oh, let's see, somebody valued that book. Let's take a look." It helps me pick anyway. Tell us about, since I have White Glass up there with a gold medallion. Tell us a little bit about White Glass.
Okay, so White Glass, it is it's a love story wrapped around many things. But what its purpose is for, it's a story of awakening to talk about issues that we have in our society. So our education system, what's going on with the education system in the inner city schools? How can we help? What are the problems? I think that when we have these conversations, sometimes they can be a little redundant and sort of overstated all the time, talked about the same thing. So what I wanted to do was come in with a fresh perspective, and I do that on all of my books, where I take a hot topic that everyone's talking about. I talk about it too, but I show it in a different kind of way. It's not from a researcher point of view or a clinical standpoint, something like that. It's from in a relaxed sort of way where that you can relate. It's very relatable.
Nice. Now, I rushed you through the awards. Did you finish talking about that? The awards. How do you get submitted? You submit your books, or they pick you out of a lineup?
Oh yeah, so you submit. So anyone out there who's like, hey, I won an award, what do I do? There is a website called bookawardpro.com. That helps. It's sort of a marketplace where they gather all the awards and then you can see them all in one place. And so what you want to do is just apply. You can even go do a Google search, writing awards 2025, see what comes up, pay the fee, apply, and fingers crossed.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee you're going to win, but I think that if you do win, that is a strong indicator that you're heading in the right direction with your writing.
Yeah.
When you start to pick up awards.
Right. When they recognize your book, that's great. How about reviews? I always tell people, write a review when you read that book. Is that important?
It is very important. So I'm like that when I look for books, or anything. Just now when I buy products, I look at the reviews.
Nice.
Because you got 2 million. You have 2 million books coming out every year at least. And as a consumer, because I love to read as well, I'm just like overwhelmed. So I look at reviews, I look at awards, I look at rankings, I look at everything just as an indicator of, well, what does other people think?
Yeah.
And then ultimately, it's your own preference. I tell writers all the time, don't get discouraged if nobody is buying that book.
Mm.
You know, it's preferences. I've talked to a lot of authors where you hear people say, "Oh, I've written more than one book, and that was my success."
Yeah.
So I'm 3 books in, and I'm just now winning
Yeah.
awards. So
You talked about looking at reviews, not just on books but other products. I was buying peanut butter through Walmart. They're going to deliver it. I went and looked at all the reviews and who says what's the best peanut butter and read the ingredients and stuff. See how books are the same, especially books. And by the
oh
way,
yeah.
people don't always have to write a long review, right? They can just click a star sometime.
Mhm.
Just
Definitely. And people can go on to Amazon.com and leave me reviews if you would like. I would love that.
yeah.
You can just do a search for Nova Wallace or Bipolar Bears by Nova Wallace. My author page comes up, my books come up,
Okay.
and leave a review. That's very helpful for authors, you know. Um, in this industry, I don't want to sound like a book beggar, but it's like, you know, you're out there, you have to canvas yourself, so you have
Hmm.
to ask for support.
Yeah.
And so, yes, you know, social support with reviews.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Just at least click the. If I buy it on Amazon, it gets easy because you just do a little quick review. I used to go to Goodreads and I'd write out a long review on the books. So, but that helps too, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Goodreads is great too.
Yeah. But now here's the cover to Bipolar Bears. Tell us about this book.
Oh, Bipolar Bears is a great action read. It's it's drama, but it has a lot of thriller in there and it has a lot of action in there. What's going on in Bipolar Bears is we're looking at mental illness,
Hmm.
okay? But we're not looking at it from a clinical standpoint. We're looking at it from two sisters who suffer from this disease and how it is affecting them. I I say this. I wrote Bipolar Bears. It came out in 2016.
Hmm.
Since then, mental illness in the world has just exploded as something that everyone should know about if you
Yeah.
don't. So, for those who are like, well, I don't know anything about mental illness, or I know someone and I want to know more, I have it, and I want to understand myself, I think Bipolar Bears is a perfect book. It's also, even if you're like, well, I don't want to deal with mental stuff, well, just read a good book.
Yeah.
It's also very exciting. It has a lot of action in there, a lot of story in there. So I think it's a great read. And all of my books, I will say this, the one thing I hear from people, all of my books are fast reads.
Fast
I
read.
write them that way on purpose so you can just get through them, get through the story. So it's
Good.
definitely a fast read.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm glad you wrote that book, and I'm glad that now people are talking about mental illness, acknowledging it, destigmatizing it. And you find out there's a whole bunch of people around with some issues like this, and it's good to talk about and have books written about it.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that one. How about this one? Uh, is this you on the cover? Finally, Unrestricted.
Yes, that's the only cover I had. So that book is very, very cool, dear to my heart because it's my memoir.
Mm.
And the thing about me, a lot of people don't know this, but I sued my brother on the Judge Joe Brown show when I was in college. And so the book is about that, but it's about what's next. Because a lot of times, you see a reality star, a reality person one time, especially on those shows, because you only get your
Yep.
15 minutes and you never hear like the truth of it all and what goes on. So there's that aspect. I'm in college, I'm a single mom. It's just a great book for people who want to know how I got my start, who I am, where I came from. Yeah.
Nice. Did you find Joe Brown to be a wise man? He always seems very wise to me.
Very, he gave me a lot of really good advice about my situation because when we got there, we were still fighting.
Mm.
So it helped put things in perspective for me to understand more of what was going on. He gave me and my brother both a lot of good wisdom and advice. I
That's good.
still remember and take to heart.
That's good. That's good to hear that. So many books. Tell me, like you said, 2 million books coming out a year, I think, and there's 10 times as many people who are writing books. They can't finish writing a book, and you've done it 3 times, I think. What's your discipline? Do you get up every morning at 6 o'clock and start typing? What's your discipline? Or if you have any.
It is almost like that. When I'm in writer mode, I do it like a real job.
Yeah.
So when I wrote my first book, I wasn't working. I just graduated from college and I was in between jobs. I wanted to write this book. So I would get up in the morning, drop my son off, and at 9 a.m. start writing, and I would write from 9 to 3 every day.
Wow.
Monday through Friday, never skipping a beat. I have my lunch, whatever, but I work like a real job.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great story, by the way. Is it like a regular job?
Yeah, it is. It is a real job. You know, once you get paid for it, it becomes your job.
Yes. Right.
So I tell people, don't come into the mindset of it's for free.
Yeah.
Come into the mindset of this is a job and I'm going to turn this into a business and make money.
Nice, nice. What's next, Nova? Do you got another book knocking around in your head or halfway written?
I sure do. So there's 2 things I'm working on. There is a writing contest I've been trying to get into for over 15 years. I still have not won, but I think I have a killer story this time, literally. So I'm going to be submitting to more writing contests, and then I'm going to start the sequel to White Glass.
Nice.
White Glass has won 3 awards so far. I just think that's a winner. It's a hit. So, yeah, let's do the sequel.
Nice. So when you enter the writing contest and you submit your work, what happens after that? Do you take that work and try to publish it somewhere after the contest?
You can. What this writing contest is called Dream Quest 1, and it's you write your story 5 pages or less. That's the unique part about it. It's
Nice.
5 pages or less. So I will save the stories, and then one day I'm going to put them in a book of short stories, because one day I would like to publish a book of short stories.
Yeah. I love a book of short stories because you just read one and put the book down for weeks and pick it up and read another one, and I think there's a great market for that. I hope there's a great market for that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then you'll start on your sequel to White Glass, which we have here. Here it is. White Glass with the gold medallion on top of it. Nova, we're about out of time, but I did want to give you a minute in case we missed anything, or you have any message you want to convey about your books or life in general.
Sure. I just want to tell everyone thank you for your support. 2014 was an amazing year for me. Everyone, please visit my website, www.novawallace.com. You can also check me out on Facebook at Nova Wallace Books. Also, I do sell mental health apparel, t-shirts, shirts, bags, just to help to support the mentally ill. And so, yeah, asking everyone just to support Nova Wallace.
Now, can we find that gear on the website?
Yes, you can. You can go to novawallace.com and then click on the shop section.
Now, can they order the books on your website?
Yes, my books are also available on my website.
Yeah, whenever I can order directly from the author, I like to do that. But I tell this advice to people. I say it occasionally because I'm always inspired by Nova. Don't go and click once to order one book. Order 5 copies and give them out to friends. And we always have to be giving gifts for something. So I like to have a stack of books there. I also like all my friends to be reading the same book I'm reading. So order 5 copies and pass them out and help Nova out as well. Thank you, Nova, for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Mike, for having me. I really appreciate it.
And I'd love to have you back anytime. You're a charming guest, and I'm always inspired after we talk.
Thank you. Anytime, I will be here.
All right, and for our viewers, don't go anywhere. We're going to have another author coming up right after this.